And we're live.
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 Monday Funday.
Monday Funday. So, welcome to the first episode of Monday Funday presented by Media. We're excited to bring you our amazing new show that's going to be airing every Monday morning, roughly whenever we wake up, Pacific and Eastern time.
Yeah, what a way to start off your week to look at our two faces,
Mm-hmm.
pretend like we know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No guests, no interviews, just what's on our mind, which is, some weird stuff sometimes.
Yeah, no guests holding us back. To be honest, we don't like any guests. It's really the sound of our own voices that we're fond of.
That's the real thing. We have incredible voices.
Well, there's a lot to talk about. What do you think? You think Kanye is a good place to start?
I think Kanye is the perfect place to start. Then not the Kanye West is not the hero that we need or deserve. But he's the one. He's not the one that we want, but he's the one that we need.
I was bumping to Jesus Walks the other day in the
Ah,
car. I was like, where does a guy who leans conservative and is atheist get off bumping to a song by a rapper talking about Jesus? I was like, yes, like this is the situation that we're in right now. That I'm digging Kanye West. So what do you think about Kanye and
you
this whole
know,
thing?
I have a lot of thoughts around Kanye, but the main thing is that I he's proving a brilliant point on, like, not being afraid, and most people being afraid to speak their minds. And one thing I thought of, and I even made like a quick list of all of the hip hop artists and rappers in the past who have talked about how much they love Donald Trump in their lyrics or in their interviews. I mean, this list, you guys, is like, Beastie Boys, Ice Cube, Tribe Called Quest, Scarface, Snoop Dogg, Mos Def, Nelly, Cypress Hill, Ludacris, Jay-Z, R. Kelly, Jeezy, Big Sean, and Pharrell. Mac Miller even had that song called Donald Trump. Young Jeezy with Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj with DJ Khaled, Kendrick Lamar. Basically everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Basically all of them said how much they love Donald Trump. They included him in his lyrics. And when Donald Trump became president, then they're all like, all of a sudden hate him.
All right.
Right? And Kanye, all he's saying, right, he's like, he never even said that he likes his politics, because he's admitted he doesn't know enough about politics. He doesn't know
Mhm.
anything about politics. He doesn't want to talk about politics, but he just likes Donald Trump, always has. And so he's just saying, I'm not afraid to say what we've all been saying. And all of a sudden, you guys are hating me for it. It doesn't make sense, right? And that's his mission with the being able to be a free thinker and not being criticized for just saying what's on your mind, right? And I think it's
Yeah.
a beautiful message.
Yeah, and what's something that I've been thinking about the past couple of days. Well, first of all, it's just incredible that everything that we've been talking about in this whole idea of a culture war, um, it really goes to show the power of celebrity and their influence and ability to start conversations, which I think is important. Um, with Kanye West, what I'm realizing is there's a lot of people coming out against him, a bunch of rappers, a bunch of people in public, really staging an all out war on Twitter and other places, just trying to shut him down or delegitimize what he's saying. And it goes to show the amount of power and investment that there is in the ideology of left leaning politics, and and from what and something I was thinking about the past few days is, rap, in rap culture, there's a lot of worship of money and as status and power. But I think really what's at the core of rappers' power is their ability to say whatever they want, and and like that's real freedom, because it's the power to say what they want, which in turn gives them uh, you know the rewards of being an honest artist. And it's just amazing to see all the people that um, that claim to be artists that are trying to shut down his even idea of being a free thinker.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly right. And when they shut them down, they're using the tactics that we've seen in the past with many different speakers. With just calling them a racist and calling them just these bullying tactics. Um, but there's nothing more than that, right? There's nothing like be on the left. That's fine, right?
Yeah.
But why? Like what is it about that ideology that you like, right? And if you say anything about race or equality among people, like you're not, that's not a really, it really should be excluded from the narrative, because it's only a silencing technique that we've been talking about in the past, and then the left seem to have doubled down now on the same method regarding Kanye West.
Yeah, yeah, totally. But it's interesting because not a lot of, well, he's exposing new audiences of people to these ideas. Um, and so some of the tactics might work because a lot of people are just kind of getting into the political realm now that they're interested by this. Um, but yeah, it's clear to see that, I mean, even SNL, has skit about him, and his uh, new allegiance that they perceive to Donald Trump. I only watched like the first 30 seconds, so I'm not giving it a fair judgment. But
Well,
yeah,
and I really like the when Chance the Rapper came to his defense. Actually, all Chance the Rapper did was tweeted, "Black people don't have to be Democrats,"
right.
and then people started calling him, a racist, and it's just like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, and then he kind of issued somewhat of a backtrack really quickly. It's just amazing to see, like, even people in influence and power, like the amount of pressure that they come under whenever they express a view that isn't mainstream or controlled by mainstream media. Um, just imagine someone in that level of power and influence and money, and them being afraid of like the backlash. And
Right,
so
that his Chance the Rapper's publicist and business manager are like, say
yeah, yeah,
something,
whoa, whoa,
right?
whoa. Yeah. If he has one, he's, I think he's sort of like a beacon of independence because he rose to fame without any sort of record label.
But
So
he got enough pressure from the responses to that, and
right,
I'm sure people, whether they be actual business managers or not, calling him, telling him to make a retracting. But
yeah,
the thing is,
exactly.
what is he retracting? All he said was black people can't be Democrats. Should he say, never mind, they have to be, all of them have to be?
Right,
It's like it was such a simple and true statement that he got a bunch of crap for. It's
right.
mind blowing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is the disassembling of the matrix, which there are so many people in power and interest that have a incentive not to keep this thing going, to keep the illusion that there's only one way to think in mainstream, and to be uh, and you'll be ostracized if you don't think this way. So
Right, and then that's why, like, whatever you think, as long as you can tell yourself and others why you think that,
mhm.
then you're okay. Like that's be whatever, think whatever you want, believe whatever you want, right? Say whatever you want. Just make sure you're able to say why, and simply explain why. And I think that's the key, right? Is like everybody
Yeah,
needs to be able to do that, and then believe whatever you want. But if you can't, then that's a sign that you're probably being heavily influenced.
you can't tell me nothing. Oh, yeah. I was listening to "No Church in the Wild" by off from Watch the Throne, to the Jay-Z and Kanye
Yeah.
song. And it just blows my mind that, like, that is such a badass song and such a commentary on human nature, and that Kanye and Jay-Z could uh, come together to make that song, and to have them both be on opposite sides of the political spectrum. Because it shows a fundamental understanding of people and of like of um, power structures, and yet they have divergent views on that. And so yeah, it's it's pretty cool to see that he's not backing down too, which is great.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Something else I wanted to touch on is Project Veritas. I mentioned this to you earlier this week. Um, Project Veritas is a media company that they came to prominence back in, I think, like 2008, 2009, when they used hidden cameras to infiltrate a federally funded community organizing organization called Acorn, which was essentially using field offices to register Democratic voters all across the country. And what they did was they infiltrated these places, posing as a pimp and an underage prostitute from Central America. It was a couple of them, and they were basically asking the advisors at Acorn how to set up a child prostitution ring with illegal immigrants. And they, branch after branch, they got amazing responses, considering who or what the organization was set up for. So that's what put them on the map. They ended up shutting down Acorn. And then this past week, they announced a new series on teachers unions, and the way that they believed, their theory was that these teachers unions don't really care about kids, and it's more about securing the pensions and power of teachers in elementary schools. And the videos that they released are amazing. Two presidents of two New Jersey teachers unions. One talking about covering up the abuse of a kid, that some teacher hit a kid, and now he had to, whatever he needed to do to shift the blame onto the kid. He said, "My job is to protect the worst people," stuff like that.
It's really
yeah.
disturbing. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I watched it last night, and I'm just like, this can't be real. Right. I mean, he even said something like, he's like, have him come in so he can tell me the truth, so I can bend the truth.
Right.
And this is the president of the teachers union, and then bragging about past times that he's done that. It's like, look, this one time, this teacher was arrested, or this teacher was like arrested 5 times for drug possession. He's like, and I got her, kept her job, kept her pension,
Yeah, yeah. Like, no, it shows like that arrogance shows their how detached they are from reality.
It's unbelievable, and it's like these kids. How many cases were there kids being abused? And then he even went on to say sexual abuse. He said, even if the kid was sexually abused, I would protect the teacher and their tenure.
Yeah, and there's another, like, the other woman who was the other president was like talking about the file on her desk. She was like, "See this file? This is about the case where a teacher had sex with a student." And she's like, "It's not about they're losing their job, or the point was, it's not about the person going to jail or getting their job. It's about keeping the pension. So that, like, they're fighting to keep this guy's pension. So like that would be the biggest penalty to him." And I think it's amazing to see how the sausage is made behind the scenes. It's like the illusion, and there's so many people with interest. Like, for instance, the California Teachers Union pays more in lobbying than like the tobacco, the pharmaceutical, and I believe the gun. I don't remember what the third one is, but combined. So
is that really?
Yeah, like in terms of political lobbying, these teachers unions have an amazing amount of influence. And I think what Project Veritas is doing is to show that their real interest is not in students. Their real interest is not in educating kids or growing kids or creating a safe environment for kids. It's about securing the pensions and influence and money and power that these teachers union hold, where they're not incentivized to help kids, and they're not incentivized to really do anything besides act in their own self-interest.
Right, because I mean, and it's funny that I've heard in the past. I mean, I have like family and friends that are teachers, and they're just like, "Oh, it's impossible to get fired." Like,
yeah,
like once you're in, and once you hit like certain levels too, then you're just like guaranteed money for the rest of your life. And it's like, why? Why is that the only industry where we do that? I mean,
yeah, and well, I think a big reason is like the power of using kids as collateral, like saying teachers need more money, teachers need this, teachers need that. It's an amazing piece of propaganda because it's if you provide a political argument against it, or a philosophical argument, or an economic argument, yeah, you don't care about kids. It's so easy. It's like shooting fish in a barrel.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I was in an industry where I could say that every time someone disagreed with me. What? You don't care about the kids. You hate the kids.
Yeah, I think I'll start using that. That's not a bad idea.
What are you talking about? What kids? What kids? You don't even know about the kids? Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. Look at this guy. This guy.
Yeah, I was amazed by that video though. I mean, it was just so disturbing. Like I said, the way he was bragging about how he can easily get this done, and and I mean, I think he like even threw in there like he's like it's not okay. I'll be mad at the guy, but we won't tell anybody. We'll protect him. Like it's my job to protect him and not let this get out.
Right. Yeah. It's yeah, and they're both fired. Both of these presidents so far, and Project Veritas on their Twitter. I think they're going to be releasing more. This is a series, so they're I don't know what states they're going to, or how many more videos are to come, but it's really interesting.
Yeah. So the recent one was New Jersey, right?
Yeah.
And then there's one in New York too, right?
Well, I think both of the first ones were in New Jersey. I'm not sure what has been released since then.
Okay.
Yeah. I think what I read from their Twitter page was that there's a Michigan union that was trying to file an injunction against them from releasing anything. So maybe Michigan is to come next. Yeah.
Uh-oh. We've been doing some stuff. We better stop these guys.
But yeah,
and that just shows though. Why would you want to silence that? Like, for what other reason would you want these guys to not release those type of tapes?
Yeah,
unless you were clearly guilty of something. Like, what other reason would there be?
No reason. Yeah. They want to hold on to the illusion and the power that they have, which is coming at the expense of kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, what a Monday Funday, huh? We start talking about the being abused, and
there's nothing more fun than that.
I literally can't think of anything.
What you're trying to say is you love talking about abused kids.
Yeah, racism and then abused kids.
Yeah.
Two favorite things.
Two favorite things. Yeah. I can't wait for someone to take that clip out of context.
Oh yeah, and put me into a different
clip
and like, who's this guy?
Yeah, and then put like devil horns on our heads. No, but it's interesting because I just read Andrew Breitbart's book, and James O'Keefe, which is the guy behind Project Veritas, he originally released all these videos with the help of Breitbart, and Breitbart died in 2013, but he predicted that the war of basically, I like it's conservatism versus leftism, but it's really becoming more anti-authoritarianism versus authoritarianism. Basically freedom versus authoritarianism. And he predicted that this sort of like hidden camera, internet guerrilla warfare of ideas would win out, and it's kind of coming true.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Anything on your mind or your agenda, or what are you thinking? What's going on with you?
Like I said, all I think about is racism and child abuse. So.
Just constant fantasies in your head about that.
No, I mean, I think this is good. I think we will do this every week and have new. It might not always be contemporary topics, right? We may also just have kind of whatever's on our mind, or hopefully also if we get some leave some comments, send us some messages, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want. And
hopefully we'll have some guests coming up. We'll have some guests coming on. We'll try to at some point, first it'll be us chatting it up, talking about whatever issues are going on during the day, and then yeah, maybe in the future we will have people commenting. We'll try to get maybe some calls in or whatever. The possibilities are endless. We're leaving it open and trying to just establish a good, consistent show that will be great to wake up to. You don't need caffeine when you got us. We'll jolt you awake. We'll wake you up with some talk of racism and kids, and well, it'll be so shocking that you won't even sleep for the next few days. But yeah, no, I think this will be great.
If you don't like our opinions on anything, then there we have another platform where we interview people and just basically listen to their opinions. That's on our podcast.
Yeah.
So
yeah, so we'll continue to do long form interviews when we find some good guests. But this will be a good place to check in with us. This past weekend they had the Day for Freedom in London, where they basically all got together, and a few people in this movement gave some speeches. It was really interesting to see all the people come out against a lot of these authoritarian trends that people are starting to see in the UK. And yeah, I think the more people talk about it, the more we engage in this kind of conversation, the better it's going to be. And the more people will open up the conversation. And I'd like to think that you and me talking about this stuff will be as influential as Kanye's tweets.
Equally, yeah.
Yeah, equally, if not more.
If not more. I mean, he only has like 27 million followers, so
yeah. We're right on his tail. We're right on his tailcoats with.
Like we only have like 27, but those 27 are
hey 87. We have 87 now.
And but 27 million is more funny if I said just 27. So.
And this, if you are newly subscribed to Amda Media, we want to hear from you. Send us emails, send us feedback, send us comments. Doesn't matter if we have 27 million followers or one follower. We're dedicated to talking about things that people care about and matter. And so yeah, let us know, shout us out, and we're here to listen.
Have a Monday fun day, everybody.
Duh.
Duh.
Duh. Bye.